Hello everybody, this is the Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video. Hello everybody, this is the Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video. Okay people, we got another good question. I had to think about this. I was thinking about not even making a video about this question, but I let it come to me and I decided to do the video. The reason I was not going to do a video on it was not because it's not a good question now. It's because it's a very complicated question. But I let it sort of come to me and I said, you know what? It sort of came to me, so I decided I'm going to do a video on it. So one of the commenters, I have to give them credit for this here. So shout out to them. Here's the question they asked. They said, who has the highest IQ between Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal? Whoa, now, y'all, I just did a video saying, asking the question, who had the most skill between Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal? And I said, Federer, he barely, if he's number one over Nadal and Djokovic for skill, he barely has as much skill. And that's almost even, and I show y'all and explain why I made that conclusion. Now, this question, who has the higher IQ, that's even a tougher thing to measure. Okay, so the reason I decided to do the video, because something came to me about this topic. It was that I need to explain that there's two types of IQs. Okay, you have what you call the conscious IQ, and then you also have what you call the unconscious IQ. So you may be saying, well, Magic Man, why do you need to explain the difference between conscious IQ and unconscious IQ? Okay, people, that's very important, because a person like Nadal, well listen, all human beings, not just tennis players, got a conscious IQ and an unconscious IQ, okay? Or a conscious intelligence or unconscious intelligence. But it's important for me to explain this, because tennis players, like all players and people, we function from both. Now, so you may be asking them, well, the commenter that asked the question, who has the highest IQ, were they talking about the conscious IQ or were they talking about the unconscious IQ? Okay, people, I believe the person who asked this question is talking about who's consciously smarter, who on the court, who consciously has the higher IQ on the court. And so I think they're talking about a conscious IQ. And so I'm going to come back to the conscious IQ and answer that question once I get through explaining about the unconscious IQ. Okay, now people, Federer, okay, let me just say this about the IQ thing. I always felt that Pete Sampras, who I told y'all, he's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite. Sampras had one of the highest IQs ever. Okay, so you may be wondering, well, Magic Man, what do you mean when you say IQ? What does that mean? Okay, to me the word, well, let me explain conscious IQ first. Conscious IQ is when you are consciously aware of everything that's going on within match play. It's a conscious awareness, okay? Okay, not just an unconscious awareness. Now, unconscious IQ is when you are like unconsciously aware of everything that's going on in match play. And that means, and so you may say, what do you mean by unconscious? Well, I mean instinctively. Like instinctively, you ain't got to think about it. And actually, unconscious IQ is probably greater than the conscious IQ. Okay, so I'm bringing that in, so when I tell y'all, explains definitely something about Nadal, because Nadal functions in the unconscious IQ more than the conscious IQ. But so So unconscious IQ, it is an instinct IQ. It's like unconscious awareness of what's going on. Instinct. You responding instinctively. Like Nadal. Nadal, he plays more within the unconscious mode. Like, especially you can see it on defense, Nadal responds more unconsciously than probably consciously. Okay? And that's important when I choose who has the more conscious IQ. Now, people, let me say this here. Federer now, well, you might be asking, well, Magic Man, does Federer function more from the conscious IQ or the unconscious IQ? Now, this is really interesting, people. People, earlier in Federer's career, I'm talking when he started winning majors, from 2003, when he beat Philippoussis in the first major. People, that was more of an unconscious IQ. Because Federer was in the level cruise mode. That was level stuff. That means he didn't have to really think, man. The first major he beat Philippoussis, that was like a computer. Boom, 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 bam. High level, amazing. So that was what we call unconscious IQ. And from like 2003, pretty well, I'm going to say until like 2009, 2008 at least, Federer pretty well functioned from of course he had a conscious IQ, high IQ, but he functioned more from unconscious IQ. That was level stuff. Level. And when you got the level takes care of the IQ. You ain't got to think. And that's actually good. That's actually even better than having to consciously think. Now, I do believe this here. I believe that after Federer, after like 2009, probably when Federer started losing, probably the losing made him become more conscious of what's going on, And I believe after 2009, like especially when Federer started losing against Nadal more, I believe that made him become more conscious of what's happening on the court, not just in cruise mode. But like I said before, everybody would love to be in the cruise mode, in the level mode. That's always better. But sometimes you can't be in there. Okay, so you may be asking the question, well, Magic Man, are you saying that you just said the unconscious IQ is higher than probably the conscious IQ because you don't have to think about everything? But do you need both? Yes, you need both. And I'm going to explain to y'all when I get to Djokovic and compare him with Federer as far as the two IQs, see who got the higher conscious IQ, you're going to see why both are necessary. Okay, now let me kind of get back, okay, to this question here. Okay, so the question now is, so I just explained unconscious IQ, but the question is, who has the highest conscious IQ, which is who consciously is the smarter player on the court, who consciously has the higher awareness on the court between Djokovic, Federer, or Nadal. Okay, okay, people, I'm going to go ahead and put Nadal number 3. Okay, and the reason why, not because Nadal is not consciously as smart on the court as Djokovic and Federer. Okay, Nadal, we know Nadal got high smarts on the court. He got a high IQ, but Nadal functions more in the unconscious IQ mode. Like Nadal functions more from instinct. Okay, if you watch the way Nadal plays, so his thing is more unconscious stuff. You can see the way he plays. Nadal, he plays every point hard. Nadal doesn't do a lot of thinking on the court. And that's actually, you know what, that's actually good most of the time. Okay, unless you start to get beat, then you got to sort of come into the conscious IQ mode, high IQ mode, and sort of figure things out. But Nadal pretty well stays in the in the unconscious IQ mode most of the time. Okay, so I'm going to say who has the highest conscious IQ? It's between Federer and Djokovic. Okay, now like I just explained before, now just because I'm not saying that Nadal doesn't have a high conscious IQ. I'm just saying he don't function in more the conscious IQ. Nadal function more in the unconscious stuff. Like Nadal's game is based on a lot of instinctive stuff. Okay, not a lot of thinking on the court. Okay, and that's not necessarily bad because like I said before, Nadal plays every point hard. Unlike now a Federer now people Federer like the last I'm gonna say the last like 7 to 8 to 9 years, maybe even 10 years. Federer, he does a lot more conscious thinking on the court. You can tell Federer, and like Djokovic too now. Djokovic wasn't always that way, but Federer, he has how you say a greater, I think he functions in the conscious IQ mode much more than Nadal, meaning he's more, I believe, consciously aware of what's going on than even a Nadal. Okay, Federer's thing ain't just a lot of instinctive stuff. He got where Nadal plays every point hard. Boom, Nadal is totally in the point, each point. Federer has more, like Pete Sampras now, of the whole framework of the match. Like, in other words, if Federer's in the first set, he's probably thinking about the fifth set. Y'all see what I'm saying? Now that's, somebody can say, well, that's good and bad. It can be bad if you're thinking so much about the fifth set and then you lose the first set. But it can be good if you got it in perspective, where you thinking about the first, you in the first set, but you thinking about the fifth set also, or the fourth set, or the third set, meaning you got the whole match planned out. That's actually better, okay? Now I watched Djokovic just recently, a couple weeks ago, against Nadal. People, if you look at the Australian Open, Djokovic, he got both. He got the unconscious stuff. We know that Djokovic, he got the unconscious stuff. He can do all that defensive stuff that Nadal can do. But Djokovic got the conscious IQ too. Okay? When Djokovic beat Nadal, crushed Nadal in the Australian Open, that was a well thought out match. That wasn't just unconscious. That was very conscious awareness of everything that was going on. And you know what's funny? Djokovic said in the interview, he said, I knew I had to get on Nadal from the beginning. I had to intensify more than Nadal. So that ain't no just unconsciously playing and level stuff. That means he consciously, high IQ, consciously knew what to do against Nadal. Now, people, I want to say something about Federer. Let's come at the Federer now, okay? People, like I said, Federer earlier in his career, even when he was winning a lot of majors, a lot of those majors was won on unconscious IQ. Federer just in, maybe like I said, after 2009, and when he beat Andy Murray in the 2012 Wimbledon, Federer had lost the first set. He was down 4-1. Federer was down. He was serving. He knew, I don't know if he was down 4-1, but he could have been. He could have lost the second set. Oh man, you could tell he was consciously thinking of what to do. It wasn't just a bunch of unconscious stuff. Okay? Now, let me see if there's anything else. Now, here's another thing, people. I always felt that Pete Sampras had a higher IQ than Federer. For most of Federer's career, only until about a few years ago, I thought that Federer's conscious IQ was equivalent to Sampras. I'm going to call it even. I don't think Federer have a higher IQ than Sampras. I think they may be even, and like in the same mode. Now, let me come back to who has the higher conscious IQ between Djokovic or Federer. Okay, people, listen. The same way I said with when I compared who had the most skill between Djokovic and Federer, I said a few years back, even a couple, three, even four years ago, I would have said it's Federer hands down, that Federer has the higher IQ. But now people, Djokovic's conscious IQ, I'm talking conscious, his conscious awareness on the court is just as high as Federer's, just as high. I mean, I don't know if I want to say it's higher. Now, I'm not talking about him going to the God mode and stuff and level stuff, but I'm saying I believe that Djokovic consciously, when I hear him talk, and that's another thing, it ain't just how they play. You can listen to them talk in the news conference. You can see how aware, consciously aware Djokovic is of what strategy to use on the court, what's going on in every set. And another sign about who has the higher conscious IQ is something that Sampras had, people. You remember I just told y'all that Nadal, he plays every point hard. Nadal is totally in every point, and his mind is focused in one point. And now, I'm not saying that Nadal ain't thinking about the whole match, but in comparison to like a Federer, a Djokovic, or a Pete Sampras, like Federer too, and I believe Djokovic got this level too, this kind of conscious high IQ, is that they think about not just the point, not just the set, the first set or the second set. They got the whole framework. That's the key word. When you see somebody that has the whole framework planned out in a match, meaning even if they're in the first set, they got a high awareness of what's going to happen in the second set, in the third set, in the fourth set, in the fifth set. Even if they lose, I feel that when Federer lost against Kevin Anderson, he still was thinking about the future sets, what he's going to do even if he's in the second set, he's probably thinking, what am I going to do in the fifth set? Like when he was against Kevin Anderson in the fourth set, he's probably thinking, is my level going to come back in the fifth set? Now, I'm not saying that Dow don't think that way, but I think that Federer and Djokovic, they think about more what's going on in the future of a match, not just what's going on presently in a match, okay? So they have the whole framework. It's like a film. Like you take a movie film and spread it out, like the old movie films. They got the scene 1, scene 2. They got it all planned out in their mind, what they're going to do, okay? And that's conscious IQ. And let me see, there was one other thing I was going to say about something about Djokovic. I'm trying to think, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say here. I can't remember. God, it was something very important I was going to say about that. Okay, people, I remember what I was going to say about, I had one more thing to say about the conscious IQ that had to do with Federer versus Djokovic, is that, people, this favors Djokovic as far as when we talk about who's going to be the GOAT, is that Djokovic, he has as high of an unconscious IQ and as high of a conscious IQ as Federer has. He got both as high as Federer. Now remember, I just told y'all, I feel Nadal, he functions more in the unconscious IQ, and Nadal may have a higher unconscious IQ than Federer. I don't think Nadal's conscious awareness on the court is quite as high as Federer. It's close, but I would give Federer that. But Djokovic, though, his conscious IQ is as high as Federer's conscious IQ. So when people add up in the future who's the GOAT, Federer doesn't have that over Djokovic. He used to have it over Djokovic. A few years ago, I would say that Federer has a much higher IQ than Djokovic. I think Djokovic's IQ, conscious IQ on the court, is as high as Federer. Okay, people, it took me a while to try to explain this. This was a tough one to explain. That's why I was not going to even explain this thing. This is tough. Okay, people, tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, signing off. Have a good one. The magic man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video.